Vancouver.mediaco.ca.
I work at the Aboriginal Front Door Society, which is a drop-in center, and we're in a war zone because there's so many issues that are happening in the downtown east side. And you know, the dignity that should be given to everybody is not given to these people, especially Aboriginal women. And one of the issues that is in the forefront of our community and is very, very difficult is the Tremblay case. Martin Tremblay is a perpetrator of young Aboriginal women, and he has impacted our Aboriginal community. There's family members of the two young girls that have overdosed, Martha Hernandez and Kayla Lalonde. And today the family members are going to walk to honor those two girls, and also the Aboriginal youth organizations. And today I can say without a doubt that you know, we're working hard to combat violence against women, especially in respect with the Tremblay case, and that you know, we're taking a stand and we're becoming a more unified front, and we're always keeping up with the current issues at Aboriginal Front Door. And some of the other issues that have come to the forefront is you know, violence that's perpetrated by city jail attendants and the use of the hobble. And there's been a lawsuit launched against the city because of the, you know, the people that are supposed to protect our women, and they're using forms of torture that's really barbaric.
This is the 20th annual Women's Memorial March, and it began with the murder of a woman on Powell Street 20 years ago. Women were so outraged by the extreme act of violence that happened to this woman, and her remains were distributed at various places around the community. She was a Salish woman from T-Shell, and her family had came over to Vancouver, and they brought an Aboriginal seer, visioner, with them to be able to find her remains. And at each of the sites that they had found her remains, they had done a ceremony, said prayers. And so today, we stop at all of the locations where women were murdered in this community, and more recently, the women that are missing from this community. So we leave a red rose for the murdered women and a yellow rose for the missing women. There are still 32 women from the downtown east side that are missing from this community. And we don't know what's happening with their investigations. Are there still people investigating or looking for those women? But every year we come together to remember these women. There's still a lot of acts of extreme violence that happens in the downtown east side. And through the efforts of Sister Watch campaign that was recently launched, it was the end of October, in conjunction with the Vancouver Police Department and women's organizations and individuals from the downtown east side, we meet on a regular basis to try to address the violent issues that are happening, especially against the most vulnerable women in the downtown east side.
20th year. And it is a pivotal year because of the mobilization of the women in this community, where we have come together as a coalition of women and women's organizations in order to address the systemic issues and the institutional issues and the attitudinal issues and barriers that are affecting women primarily Aboriginal women in this community and beyond. It matters to us very much that this community, that the message gets sent very loud and clear that this community is not a community where men can come and do violence with impunity, nor can men be in this community and do violence with impunity. That is our intention, to send that message very loud and clear. On September 28th, 2010, the provincial government announced the public inquiry into the missing and murdered women's case, naming the inquiry the Missing Women's Commission of Inquiry, which is a misnomer. We are talking about missing and murdered women. The absence of the word murder is telling as we go forward in looking at a number of the issues related to the inquiry. Under the Act, the government had the option of establishing a joint study and a hearing of Commission of Inquiry, which would have allowed the inquiry to be more broadly focused and better able to provide a complete account of the circumstances surrounding the missing and murdered women case, partly because the study commission is empowered to undertake research on the issues at hand. However, the Commission has defined a very narrow terms of reference. The terms of reference between January 23rd, 1997 and February 5th, 2002 captures a point in time where we had a very prolific serial killer at play. However, it does not capture the realities of many women that we know that have gone missing and who were found murdered outside of that time frame. Going back to 1986, and I believe we have 1969. So women such as Elaine Allenback, and who has been missing since 1986, and Tracy Alajide and Mary Majeri, who were both found murdered in 1995, will not fall within the terms of reference. However, we know very well that the issues at play, in terms of the attitudinal racism within law enforcement, the jurisdictional issues between the Vancouver Police Department and the RCMP were in effect prior to 1997. This decision to catch all within this inquiry is a mistake. And we are identifying many mistakes that have been made leading up to this. The lack of consultation with family members, the lack of a code commissioner, a lack of meaningful Aboriginal Indigenous consultation. And this stretch of highway between Prince Rupert and Prince George is important in that the issues are very different, in part because many of the missing and murdered women within that region are not women at all. They're girls. And a significant portion of the girls within the region were in the care of the provincial ministries at the time of their disappearance. And this decision to catch all within this terms of reference is a mistake. The time frame that has been established is short. We're likely to have the shortest inquiry in history. And we're talking about, quite frankly, the most pressing social issue of our time. The murder and the disappearance of women from our communities. Women who are the backbone of our communities. Women who are the leaders in our families. Women who are at the center of our society. And for all of us as women, we should all be extremely concerned about this lack of attention by our provincial government with respect to this important concern about murders and disappearances.
I brought a poem, and I passed my brother some tobacco because his voice is his medicine. His medicine are the songs, and that's how he does his work, eh? So I thought, I asked him to come and stand. And he's wearing a shirt under there and it says, "The violence stops here." My brother says, "The violence stops here." And he's got other brothers over there, and they're carrying, or they were around the heartbeat of Mother Earth, that female side of life. Like they did long time ago. They stood around us and made sure we were alive. They kept that heartbeat going. They went and got food for us, and they were our warriors. And they stood up for us. And they're doing it today, and the teachings are still there. So I say miigwech to them for that too. Miigwech, nanaskuma. And so when I was thinking about what I was going to say here, I know that, we know what the issues are. We know why women are murdered and missing across Canada. We know why men come into this neighborhood to take women and hurt women and use women and profit off of women down here. We know that, because we haven't been silent about it. And I thought, as I sat at my computer, I thought, I'll write something out. And I thought, and I remembered about being in a ceremony, and my mom, she came in, because my mom, she died, and, I thought I had healed a lot because it wasn't bothering me. And she came in and she said, "I'm sorry. Forgive me." And I said, "For what?" I didn't know. I thought about it for a while. When I was thinking about what I was going to say here today, she said in my head, "'Cause you're still mad for me. 'Cause you're sad for me." And I thought, man, we need to heal. I need to heal. And so I have this poem, because John Trudell, he heard those voices in his head, and those voices, they said these words. So when I start these words, I want to ask you all to close your eyes and see the women. Remember the women and actually see the woman. The poem's called See the Woman. See the woman. She has a young face, an old face. She carries herself well through all ages. She survives all man has done. In some tribes, she is free. In some religions, she is under man. In some societies, she is worth what she consumes. In some nations, she is delicate strength. In some states, she is told she is weak. In some classes, she is property owned. In all instances, she is sister to earth. In all conditions, she is life bringer. In all life, she is our necessity. See the woman's eyes, flowers swaying on scattered hills, sun dancing, calling in the bees. See the woman heart, lavender butterflies, fronting blue skies, misty rain falling on soft wild roses. See the woman, lightning streaking dark summer nights, forested pines mating on new winter snow. See the woman's spirit, daily serving courage with laughter, her breath a dream and a prayer. See the woman. Do you see her? See the woman. She has a young face, an old face. She carries herself well through all ages. She survives all man has done. I want you to let it go now. Everybody yell with me. I just want to let it go. Now ask Creator to fill you with His love. Fill me with Creator's love.
Masicho. My name is CJ Julian, and I come from the Carrier Shikani Nation, and I belong to the reserve called Nagazli, and I belong to the Beaver Clan. My Indian name is Shining Eagle Woman, and it's a great honor to be here for the 4th time, sharing my pain and my story and my sister's life. I welcome you all, and I thank you very much for being here, supporting us. I've been 105 months clean and sober. And I'm 7 months in remission from cancer. I thank you, and it's a great honor to be alive. It's a great honor because when I look back and I see all of you, you were the ones that I wanted to live for. You're the ones that gave me courage to keep coming back. And Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, but the women in the downtown east side are with me in my heartbeat. I will never ever forget my sisters that were gone, that are still missing, and that were found out at that monster's farm. I have a sister named Norma George. She was 30 years old. That was the last time I seen her was September 28th, 1992. She had her jewelry on and her clothes, and she said, "Goodbye, baby girl. Goodbye, baby girl. Goodbye, baby girl." I didn't know that was the last time I was going to see my sister. I didn't know that was going to be my goodbyes to my sister. They found her 10 days later in Aldergrove, curled up in a fetal position as if she was in mother's womb. She was completely naked. and her murder is still unsolved.
I think one of the things for me that always sticks out, and I've been saying this for a number of years now, and it is the way that the media will portray when they're reporting on the issue of violence against women. Oftentimes the focal points seem to be on the women's lifestyles, but nothing is ever said about the perpetrators coming in here and knowing exactly who to prey upon and get away with it. And I think the Green River murder said it really loud and clear. He said he purposely picked prostitutes because he knew that it would go unreported for a long time, maybe not reported at all. And that's exactly what happens. And I think this view really has to change when you're talking about, in regard to Aboriginal women, the view that seems to be out there. That we are lewd, that we are uneducated, that we are all addicts. And that is so not true. And until that happens, Aboriginal women are always going to be preyed upon.
Women do not choose or are born to say, I want to be a prostitute. This is the result of poverty, systemic racism, and inaction by the powers that be. When you go home tonight and you have young daughters, I want you to think about the possibilities. And if you're really true to your heart, you can't not do anything. You can't not do anything. This is our problem. It's not just a downtown east side problem. It's not just a Mexican problem. It's not just an Asian problem. It's everybody who lives on this planet and says that they're human beings. It's our problem.
Vancouver.mediacorp.ca